Welcome to this episode of CPG Brand Builders. I'm Braden Douglas, and today I am going to break down the olive oil category in the US because it is one of my favorite new things that is coming out. And if you're a marketer, you're going to want to see, well, how do you take something that is centuries old? Olive oil's been around forever. Why is it having its heyday right now? How do you take advantage of it? What are usage occasions within it? How do we grow it? And so if you're in a brand that is an established category, I hope that you're going to glean so many new strategies, so many different things from olive oil. And if you're not taking your daily shot of olive oil, shame on you. It is going to make your skin so beautiful and so warm. You are going to glow at your next event. So welcome to Brand Builders. Here we go. So looking at olive oil right now, it is a $3.1 billion industry in the US, which is not huge. But it's actually growing. Right now, it is growing at 7.4% a year, and that's projected to continue for the next 5 years. So it's growing quite, 7.4% for an established category is quite big. So, well, what's kind of happening? Well, I'm going to break it down for you. So olive oil right now there's 4 main components. So one is you're going to have extra virgin olive oil. And extra virgin is that top quality. It's got the designations. It is what most olive oil is. It's about 50% of the whole category is extra virgin. And then you're going to have this other one called virgin or pure, which is usually a blend. And so they're going to blend the olive oils together. It's going to be a little bit, it's not as pure as extra virgin. You can't get the designations for it, but, it's used a lot in a lot of private label, a lot of components is like blends and different things. So usually it's a lot cheaper, and so more people are going to use it. And then what you have is you have this kind of this pomace kind of, which is taking the actual fibers of it. They use some solvents to get the last bit of oil that they can, and that's oil that's used for commercial cooking, which is only about less than 10% of the market. So most of it is extra virgin olive oil, and then they have these virgin blends, which is kind of like that, B grade, a little bit less expensive. And then you've got you're cooking with it in these commercial kitchens, food service style within it. But I would say most people are looking at extra virgin olive oil. Now, 95 to 97% of all the extra virgin olive oil that you buy in your grocery store comes from other countries, mostly Italy, Spain, Greece, a little bit of Argentina. That's the majority of it's all imported into the US, which means that you're dealing with a lot of brands that people have never heard of. They don't even know what's going on with olive oil. And so you're going to see that. Now, the other one is California is where the domestic US olive oil growth is. We got some great olive oils that are happening in California, but it's still only 3 to 4% of the production that you have. And that's just because there's not that many groves. Like there's not that much oil to be had. So they basically sell it all every single year, and it only satisfies, 3 to 4% of olive oil. So we're looking at, well, what is it? Conventional. So 70% of all olive oil, I couldn't even say that. All olive oil, conventional, 70%. Organic, 30% of the market. So 70-30. But here's the thing. Organic olive oil right now is growing at more than 15% per year. That's a heck of a lot of growth in the organic section. And so we're looking at, well, where do people buy it? Like, where's olive oil sold? Well, 45% is sold at your grocery store. This is going to be your H-E-B's, it's your Kroger's, it's your Albertsons. 45% of extra virgin olive oil is sold at grocery, but club, 20%. That's a lot. 20% growth of olive oil actually sold at club. Then you've got 18% in food service, which is that kind of lower grade, but even people, using it for, salads, using it for dipping, sold at food service. So at your favorite restaurant, there you go. And then specialty natural channel, Whole Foods, Sprouts, is about 10% of the market. So you're going to see majority grocery, club, just like you would kind of any other area. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. So the olive oil category right now is broken out into 4 key areas. It is what we call the value. So let's think of your private label, very low cost. People just want olive oil, usually for cooking options. Then you're going to have everyday extra virgin olive oil. So this is where you're using it on salads. You're kind of having it within that. Then you're going to get into the premium. This is where you get into organic, PDO, PGA, PDO, which is your protected designated origin, which means it comes from a very specific place it's a European designation, a specific grove, and all of the production is done in that area. And a PGI is a protected geographic indication, which means that it, all the olives come from one place, but maybe the production, the bottling happened in another region within it. But very good designations. These are premium, and we're seeing big growth in this sector. And the last one that we're seeing some big growth in is gifting. Now, people are actually usually gifting olive oil or this kind of luxury estate. Like it is the high end, the real premium, the real kind of groves that we're seeing. So you've got these 4 different categories within it. Now, here's what's really interesting. Household penetration. Well, how many people eat olive oil right now? What do you think that number is? 50%. So all households, half of them are eating olive oil. The other half don't eat it at all. I don't know why, just don't. So 50% of households do. So how are they using it? Well, one, they're using it in every day. So they're actually doing that. And there's light users and there's heavy users. So the heavy users are actually consuming it almost every other day, right? That stats say they're eating it every other day. They're having olive oil. The light users are usually it's like once a week. The average consumer right now in the US consumes 1.1 liters of olive oil a year. That's not a lot. 1.1 liters of olive oil a year is not a ton. Now, compared to in Spain or Italy, they consume, kind of like 12, 15, sometimes 20 liters a year. A lot more olive oil, a lot more usage because it's been around in their diets for a very long time. So if you're wondering why your Italian friend looks so good and their skin's amazing, it's olive oil. So you need to get on that train and actually do it. So from a marketing perspective, you have 4 reasons why our consumers are using it every day. They're using it for premium. So this is where there might be drizzling or like say dipping in bread, which means they really want that taste profile to be really good for them. They're also using it for health-based. So one of the biggest trends is the olive oil shots. So olive oil shots right now, it's really hot on TikTok. It's big right now on social media. It is taking a shot of olive oil. Now, the shots that you want need to be early harvest, high polyphenol, which means that those like high polyphenols are the actual kind of the real nutrients that is coming from that first harvest of olives. And actually the polyphenol count decreases the longer the olive oil sits. So you want to get the harvest that is really early, that's in there, that's going to have that most premium effect on you. And the 4th way that consumers are using olive oil is in gifting. And I think gifting right now, it's the new wine. So you used to show up to people, hosting parties or different things with like a bottle of wine. I actually think that olive oil is going to replace that, or at least take a lot of that share. And the reason is that alcohol right now is decreasing at about 20% since 2020. Sometimes you show up to somebody's house, they might not even drink alcohol. They might not, maybe for religious reasons, maybe it's not even part of it. And maybe you don't even know, like where do they stand on it necessarily? And olive oil, it's pretty safe. Most people are like, oh, olive oil, I know how to use it. I know what it is. Kind of looks like a fancy bottle like wine, but yet has that very open, there's no like labels, there's nothing attached to it that might be sticky. So we're seeing these kind of areas right now growing. Now, here's the really crazy insight. And for your category right now, you might be thinking, wow, man, olive oil is really kind of, it's an interesting spot. It's actually where the wine category in the US was in the 1970s. Now, in the 1970s, wine was considered elitist. It was, consumers didn't really understand it. I don't really get what makes a good wine, what doesn't. And even still to this day, most people still can't actually taste the difference between different levels of wine. And in the 70s, it was way worse. And actually, the average consumer consumed about 2.4 gallons of wine a year. Now, compared to Italy, it was 29 to 30. So you can see a huge difference in terms of what Europeans were doing versus the American consumer. Then something happened. There was a lot of research that started coming out on health benefits of drinking a glass of red wine with meals, with thinning out blood, all this kind of different stuff, and it was morally safer. Went on 60 Minutes in 1990, and they had this big segment on the European effect, and they were like, "Man, these guys are super healthy, even though they smoke all the time. I don't get it." And it was like they were thinking red wine is actually a really key part of that. From there, sales of red wine doubled in the US. From this research, from consumers starting to drink more of it, getting more educated, and it started to double. Now, the industry, which was $2 billion in 1970, today is $75 billion in the wine industry. Now it is declining. So right now, if you look at where olive oil is, it's a $3 billion category, projected to really grow within that. And so here's the thing: we've got heart health that's coming out. We've gifting opportunities. We've got high polyphenols, food culture that is really spurring this on. And so you can see that different levels. So if you're in a category, here's what I want to recommend. How do consumers use it? If we know that most people don't really understand how to actually do it, you're going to have different tiers and different options for them. So you're going to have your value-based products. Now, even what Graza has done, which I think has been brilliant, is because they've created functional benefits. You can actually, it's like your kind of drizzle bottle. Now they've come out with, sprays. They've come out with they're actually creating a brand within olive oil where I guarantee you, olive oil has probably one of the lowest brand awareness categories ever. Most people don't know what the brand is, which means that they have very low aided brand awareness, or even unaided brand awareness. Even aided brand awareness, have you heard of this olive oil? Most people would be like, no. Which means that there's an opportunity for a brand to really establish itself as a category leader. And if you're going to establish yourself, you want to create tiers and opportunities within your value, within your premium, within your gifting. And I think that's where club stores, I think we're going to see more gifting opportunities where it's like beautiful packages. You can show up to somebody's house and be like, hey, thanks for hosting, or hey, Merry Christmas, neighbor or friend. Here's a bottle of olive oil. Like, I think that is going to be such a great trend that people are going to start to take on. Now, the next one is usage occasion. If you have a low awareness, people don't know how to actually consume it as much, you have to teach them. Well, how do you do this? So you have your olive oil shots. So you can actually start to really educate that through influencers, through UGC, through contests, at specific times in the year. So you might choose the September kind of reset timing back to school. You obviously that January, new year, new you, to take those moments where you're like, hey, do our shot challenge. And I guarantee you in 30 days, you're going to feel better. You're going to function better. Your skin's going to be better. You're going to have, regular bowel movements, all these kind of different things. You're going to love the benefits of this olive oil. The other one would be premium. Hey, well, is it just putting it on a plate and like dipping bread in? No, there's lots of stuff. Make your own salad dressings, which is so delicious. You can actually, use it on marinades. Use it in your cooking. Use it like don't keep using butter or high saturated fats. Use olive oil to be able to cook, and so you're going to have more usage that way. You're going to start to look at gifting opportunities, and so for me, taking a look at your package is not just having a beautiful label on a shelf. It may have seasonal opportunities to say, oh, at Christmas time, we're going to come up with maybe a smaller bottle, but a really beautiful package so that it's an easy $10, $15, $20 gift that you can give somebody who's going to actually perceive it as like, whoa, this is really nice. So for me, seasonal opportunities are huge. And I don't care what category you're in. That's where you have to start looking at, hey, different usage occasions, different seasons, different education, but trying to own specific times throughout the calendar where you can start to educate people and make it actually like really, really fun. So that's where we're seeing olive oil kind of stretch across these 4 kind of key areas and start to really build it. So as a marketer, when we're facing with a category that is brand agnostic, consumers don't really know the brands. So one is you get a chance to own it. Right now, I would say Costarina has done a great job with blue bottles. So they're owning this color palette. It's from Greece. It is, so it makes sense with it. I think they're doing a really good job right now with actually building out a strong piece. Costco, in my opinion, has the biggest opportunity to really grow this category. What they did with wine, I think they can do with olive oil. I'm just envisioning sets right now of beautiful displays, seasonal gifting, really high-end products. I think they're going to start to see that wine section shrink a little bit, and I think they can backfill it with olive oil, get some great margin out of it, and really create something that members of Costco really feel excited about. And I think, mark my words, I think this is going to come into Costco in the next while, and they're going to be the number one retailer of olive oil by far within that. And so then we can start to have different components. If you're looking at packaging options, because consumers don't consume a lot, you can get away with smaller pack sizes and maybe actually bundle them. So maybe think about bundling packs of smaller olive oil and helping to educate consumers. So we did this with the coffee category where we said, hey, here are the flavor notes within this. So it's like hues of peach and notes of different kind of floral components so that consumers would understand what should it taste like? Why does it taste like that? Help me understand it in a sophisticated way, not talking down to them, but in a way that helps educate, because most North American consumers, they just don't know. They want to know, they just don't know. So you kind of have to bring that sophistication to them in a way that they can really understand it. So I'm thinking format size, education around usage occasions, a lot more user-generated content showing people using it in different day parts and different components. And I think this olive oil category is going to continue to grow even more than that predicted 7.4%. All the trends are pointing to it. And I hope that as marketers, we can take advantage of it. So if you're even a marketing adjacent category, look at partnerships with olive oil, with different things. Maybe it's bundling, maybe it's gift packs, lots of different kind of usage occasions within it. So thanks for joining us. If you are not a member of CPG Brand Builders, I want you to be. It is so much fun. Every month we get to talk about marketing, the challenges with other CPG marketers that you will absolutely love. And we're giving away different resources and different products. So check it out at CPG Brand Builders. We hope to see you there.